Okay, we're live in 1 minute. 1 minute. Okay, get ready. We're live in 20 seconds. We're live in 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, everyone. As we drive home today, had an exciting day at work. Hopefully it was productive and everybody made a whole lot of money. Matter of fact, I'm excited about the opportunity to be with you as we begin to talk about, after you made that money, becoming your own bank. And we want you to listen closely and see if you can benefit from this opportunity to have this discussion. I don't know about you, but this time of year, I'm kind of reluctant about it. I don't really care for this early darkness. Many of us will get home and it will be almost dark. You can't hardly see how to get in the house, but we are happy that we can get home and that we can share and you can listen and feel free. If you're on some social media, you can give us feedback by simply typing your question in and being a part of what we're doing. So we're just excited about it. Today we have with us Tasha M. Dyer, Gerald Rogers, and sound like my dog.
Oh, we got a guess.
Yeah, that ain't nothing but the devil. She laying over there sleeping. She decided she want to wake up. Miss Dyer, introduce yourself while I mute myself.
Okay, I was like, we have a guest. Bishop, you went on an extended vacation and got a pet. All right, so hello, everyone. So if that did not wake you up, he was just talking about how this weather, the change, the scenery, the sign, if that did not wake you up, well, it's time to get up, right? That should have definitely woke you up. But let me say hello to everyone. Hello to our listening audience. Rejoice904.com. Hello to our streaming audience. No matter where you're calling in from, no matter where you're at in the world right now, let me officially welcome you to our broadcast. Now, I'm going to challenge all of you all. Share this stream. Share. I want you to share the stream on Facebook, on YouTube, right? Hello to all of you all, but share, because this information that we're talking about, what we're doing, 2 million families, ladies and gentlemen, 2 million strong is what we're discussing. Right? It's not the discussion, but it is the discussion. So hello. And hello, Bishop, our visionary, Mr. Gerald D. Rogers, Dr. Bythewood. Hello to all of you all today as well.
Oh, thank you, Miss Dyer. And I put her outside. I don't know what made her jump. I think some delivery guy knocked on the door and that just set her off. And so we're excited about that. The fact that we can talk. Mr. Rogers, how are you doing today?
I'm well. How you doing, Bishop?
I'm doing great.
You're looking marvelous. You're looking marvelous, Bishop.
I'm trying to look marvelous. It's a struggle, my brother. The struggle is real.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here with our listening audience. We want to give a shout out to the Rejoice904.com network. And just like my colleagues have already stated, if you're following us on social media, whatever platform you're viewing us, we want you to like it and share it. Like it and share it because it is very paramount. Big shout out to the Bishop himself. The trade whisperer, Miss Tasha M. Dyer, the finance doctor, Dr. Craig Bythewood. And I'm excited because it's a new season. It's a new day. A fresh anointing is coming your way. It's a season
Wow,
of
we're getting serenaded.
power and prosperity. It's a new season. So follow us, because it is a new season. 2 million strong.
All right, we got serenaded there, Dr. Bythewood. Come on, bring the end to the song.
Okay,
Talk
so
back with that.
I am so happy to be a part of this radio team. And I hope that everyone really caught what just happened as we started our show off. Because we need to recognize what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how it is going to impact our lives. Because the Be Your Own Bank movement is about you taking that inner abundation, that inner wealthician, that inner billionaire and bringing it out. Who let the dogs out? Exactly. Let's get it.
Matter of fact, I had to put the dog out. 'Cause I thought she would sleep over there in her little cage, but somehow she decided that she would make some noise and be heard. And sometimes we have to make that decision to make some noise and be heard. And we're excited today as we begin our discussion. We want to talk about the idea of being persistent, because if you're going to be a part of this movement, then you got to learn to be persistent about what it is that you're doing, persistent about following the instruction, persistent about learning your skill, persistent about investing your time and your energy and your money. And so we're just happy to have that scripture found in Galatians chapter 6, is it not? And Ms. Dyer, you have it?
I do. So what it says is, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Whoever sows to please their flesh, from the flesh will reap destruction. Whoever sows to please the Spirit, from the Spirit will reap eternal life. Let us not become weary in doing right. For the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up.
Hey, that is exactly right. There are some spiritual and natural laws that God put in place back in the garden, and those spiritual laws are applicable to everyone. And the law is that we sow what we reap what we sow. That law is applicable to every farmer in the world that sows corn. If they sow corn, they're gonna reap corn. That is just a natural law that God put into place. And so it is economically. If what we do with our money is going to determine the kind of return we get on it. And so if it's the person that we say has a real mental issue, who keeps doing the same thing over and over, expecting to get a different result. If you keep putting your money in the wrong places, then there's no doubt you're going to get those same bad results. At some point, you got to decide to do something just a little bit different if you're expecting different results, based on those laws that God put in place when he first created this world that we live in. Miss Dyer, how are you today? What's going on?
I'm good. Bishop, it sounds like you're telling me that cabbage we make on the first every year is not going to reap the benefit. I need to do something different. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just trying to say, if you're expecting different results, then certainly you're going to have to do something different.
You know, that's supposed to bring us money. We talk about it, we say God gonna provide, we gonna make some cabbage or something. We're supposed to represent money. I'm just we do it.
We talking about the first of the year. Oh, we did cabbage down in Louisiana. Cabbage. I was in Louisiana a couple of weeks ago, and I had a great time.
I saw a picture.
You saw it?
I saw a picture. As you travel through my country, right? Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. No, but I mean, that's the reality. We can joke about it all the time, but that is something that we do, and I think that actually came, my mom grew up in Michigan, so I don't know if that's where that came from, because it was every year, we had to have some cabbage, and maybe because she liked green, so maybe she altered it herself, so I don't know. But the reality is we have to do something different, right? We have to get attached to a desired outcome. And, we often say the definition of insanity is continuously doing the same thing, expecting a different result. But we want things out of life. We do. We all want something out of life. But if you don't have something inside of you that's going to drive you to it, and if you don't have the ability to have an open mind, and I like what you said, like make some noise about being persistent. if we're not willing to make noise for ourselves, if we're not willing to, really be persistent and pursue what it is that we desire, being able to press forward, if we're not willing to sow, to see that's the part that a lot of people miss. You mentioned if I plant some corn, then I'm gonna get corn. If I plant this, then that's what I'm gonna get. A lot of people plant laziness. A lot of people plant doubt. A lot of people plant fear. A lot of people plant, giving up, right? You can be a professional quitter, and some people are professional quitters, but a lot of things we plant, and that we don't realize that law of sowing and reaping, it is going to manifest. So if I consistently quit, give up, have doubt, speak negative, looking for things nothing is going to work for me, all of those things that we speak, then that's what we're going to receive. So we have to do something different, because we're planting that into our environment, into our future, into our life.
Exactly. Mr. Rogers, how are you today? What do you think about sowing?
Well, it's amazing. We heard the shots was fired. I'm gonna quote Ms. Dyer. We become professional quitters because of the type of seeds that we don't. And we've talked about sowing and reaping, and I love how you articulated that God's economy is really based on sowing and reaping. But at the end of the day, as farmers of righteousness, as farmers of our own personal persistence and perseverance, we are ultimately responsible for the harvest that we are participating in. And so we have to be very mindful that no matter what circumstance and conditions we come from, ultimately, we are the sum total of the thoughts and the actions and the behaviors that we exhibit on a day-to-day basis. So, for our listening audience, we want to encourage you to, understand that it's time for a 180. Sometimes we talk about a 360, and a 360 is turning right where you started from. But what really you want to look at your life and you want to make a 180, specifically when it comes to the type of seeds that you've sown as far as reaping. And then we have to have the persistence and the endurance to allow the proper fertilization to take place so that we can be around at the end of harvest time. And so often, and I'll stand in agreement with what Ms. Dyer mentioned, that we are, what are we known for? Are we known for starting, or are we known for finishing? Because the scripture declares in verse 9, that in due season, we will reap if we faint not. So this communication is really about finishing and not starting. So are you a starter or are you a finisher?
Exactly. Dr. Byfoot.
I have a young man that I used to mentor who plays college basketball, and he didn't have an offer because of COVID. So one small school in West Virginia asked him to play, and it just turns out that one of the gentlemen that he grew up with in Tampa, Florida, had just been hired as an assistant coach at that school. So in telling that story to a group of people last night, I talked about the fact that God's navigation is just way more powerful than we could ever recognize. Oftentimes in this movement, I talk about how important the collective consciousness is, and the fact that we know that we're vibrating in the same manner, and that this movement is about us tapping into that power. So today, those of you who are part of our listening audience, here's a little unveiling of what happens behind the curtain. We have a group chat, and on that group chat, it was said, today is going to be about persistence. I have a whiteboard that I use every single day to represent my theme for the week. My theme for the week is persistence. Persistence. So all I could do is chuckle when I saw that that was what we were going to be talking about today. So what I'm doing is I'm reminding all of you that the fact that you have tapped into this radio broadcast, the fact that you have tapped into this scripture, the fact that you are a part of this movement means that you are in the right place at the right time, getting the right navigation from God so that you can continue to do everything you want to do from a desired perspective. What is your action item? Persist.
Persistence. I'm excited about that because when Miss Dara does as she normally do, she said, "What are we going to talk about? What's going to be the topic?" And I'm saying, "Wow, what is going to be the topic?" And apparently, you had put that in the atmosphere, and it came all the way up here from Tampa, Florida, to Greenville, South Carolina, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm just amazed how God works. And you talked about the collective consciousness. I think that's captured in the first verse of chapter 6 here. It says, when one of us is overtaken in a fault, those who are on target, those who are spiritually requires it, but just put it in our everyday language, those are who of us who are maintaining and on target and doing what we're supposed to do should take a moment and try to restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, recognizing that any of us can get caught up at any time and lose sight of what we're trying to do. And sometimes an encouraging word, sometimes, hey brother, come on, let's get it together. We got to make this money. Something that says that we are part of each other. And when you hurt, I hurt. And when I see you slacking, it affects the whole team. And so we want you to be on target so the rest of us can maintain our focus. And so we're just excited about this opportunity to go over this passage and remind ourselves of being persistent. And so we're persistent about encouraging each other and not just throwing our hands up at each other. Miss Dara.
Now, I actually like that, being persistent about encouragement, because we so often beat people down. We get angry, we get upset, we're quick to call somebody out of their name. We're quick to, when people don't see things through our lens. And I'm not saying anybody on this show, anybody on this broadcast, but I'm saying as a society, as a culture, as individuals, we're so quick. That's like our natural reaction, right? That's that human reaction that we have where that's it, where, when I think back to things that I've gone through in my life, you always have that friend that's right there with you, right? Let's think about it from that perspective. We have that friend. And so, when you think like you have whether you're going through a divorce, you have that friend that co-sign on all your drama, right? When you're upset about something, you have that friend that co-sign. I see you laughing, but you do. You have that friend that co-sign on you being upset. I was at the store the other day, and while I'm in the store, Walmart has done away with the cashiers, and so people was trying to figure out how to check out. And this lady got upset and she got to arguing with the other lady. And I was like, first of all, do y'all know what Walmart we at? Because y'all on the wrong side of town for that, But, when you think about it, they got to arguing, but she had that friend that co-signed her drama because she was completely out of line. But she had that friend that kept encouraging her. And the more that friend encouraged her, the louder and more ignorant she got in her behavior, causing a scene. And so when we think about it, we all, when you have that friend, so what about that friend that's going to encourage you? What about that friend that's going to let you know that there's wealth on the other side? What about that friend that's, I see the comment right or die. We always don't need those people in our lives, right? We need people that are going to help us propel and help us uplift and help us elevate, expose us to some information that's life-changing. Let us know that this doesn't have to be our life. Let us know that that this doesn't have to be, that way. We can have those friends, those people in our corner that's really going to encourage us. And that's why we always do what we do, from the encouragement, the affirmations, the positivity, the uplifting, because we have to raise the vibration. You hear Dr. Byfoot all the time talking about vibrations, right? I'm going to vibrate at a certain point, and you're going to elevate to my vibration or you will fall off. So we're going to keep our vibration with this movement at a certain perspective. And we want you to vibrate, because negative energy cannot be in that vibration. So we always have to rise to that vibration.
Exactly. And that vibration is what keeps us all in tune with each other. It's kind of like the drum beat, we get at the same beat, then we can stay in tune with each other. Mr. Rogers, how are you? What's going on?
Well, I mean, I like the fact that, you know, as verse 7 says, be not deceived, God is not easily mocked. As a man soweth, so shall he reap. So I want to also, you know, coincide with even our phraseology, you know, as Ms. Dyer just said, ride. And so we want to change that dynamic. We want to hang out with people who want to ride and live with us.
Yeah, exactly.
We want to ride and live. We want to love people to life. We want to not only love people to life, but we want to increase prosperity. So those are some of the words that, as we take this concept that Paul is articulating to the Galatians, you know, from a spiritual standpoint, but also we want to make sure that we're always applying these things to the natural man as well, because we are a triune being. And that's one of the things that I know regarding our movement, specifically, one sector of it is the faith and finance. So we want to also be able to marry these words, not only spiritual understanding, but enlighten our spiritual eyes, but also increase and expand our territory. So yes, we're talking about generational blessings, because Abraham, I bless you that you may be a blessing. So those are some of the seeds that we now want to just bombard this atmosphere, this radio broadcast. And I'm trusting and believing that someone listening, they're going to grab hold of these words of encouragement and begin to sow these seeds, not only and receive them in their own lives, but also be able to, out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water. So what are we spewing out as well? So we got to intake it, and then we got to also equally disperse it.
Exactly. Dr. Byford.
So first of all, Bishop, let's recognize that the moral of the story is do not be ghetto in Miss Dyer's presence, because she will call you out. But I also think that the radio listening audience needs to understand this. Don't let the positive vibrations fool you. Don't let the movement fool you. Don't let the BYOB fool you, because if Bishop Robinson, Gerald Rogers, the visionary, and Craig Bythewood, the finance doctor, had walked in that store, and we would have seen those two ladies approaching our trade whisperer, know that we would have went to the Vaseline aisle, and we would have held her wig for her, and it would have been down. So y'all need to understand that.
I appreciate it though. We was bystanders, and I used it as a lesson to teach my daughter. So I do want to make it clear it wasn't me. Cause yeah, it wasn't me. But yes, I thank you, Dr. B. I know you got my back always.
That's right. Ride or live.
Well, Dr. Bywood, I would have brought some bail money and a couple of attorneys to get you out. I don't know if I'd have been in the store fighting and going on, because I don't know about that. I don't know. You know, I got a little touch of diabetes. You know, I bruise easily and it's hard to heal. So.
Bishop, you gonna hide the bag. Bishop is the friend you don't bring with you. You gonna hide the bag.
So, only thing I can do is get your bail money up in Walmart fighting like that. No, sir, not me. And so, we're just gonna move forward with that, and we're gonna kind of hope Miss Dyer won't go back into Walmart starting any more fights, because that's just not a good idea, Miss Dyer, to be fighting over.
I haven't gotten a fight in so long.
Self-checkouts. I know you're a soldier and all that. But the self-checkout, you know, it moves pretty quick, and you just slide yourself through and pay your money. And don't try to get out of that try two things at once and then try to get out of there, because they check your bags at the door. So
I was sit here and absorb this and allow y'all to talk about. We were not fighting. I'm not gonna argue with anybody. Like that's what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna argue. So I wasn't the one. So
okay.
Yeah, I was on the sidelines. I was a spectator.
I'm happy to hear that, Miss Dyer, that you were setting a proper example.
Now, if she would have hit, I would have hit her, but I won't argue. Let me get back on track.
No, I'm glad. You know, because it says, bear ye one another burden, get under the load, and help bring that person back to the right mindset. And I can see you doing that when you entered the conversation. You were trying to help bear that load and bring them back into the right, make them aware of where they were, and people were watching them, and children were watching, and all that stuff. And so that's part of what we do, even with each other in the movement. We kind of spend a little extra time with those who need a little extra time and help them bear the load and get back in tune with our program, and if we can get them back in tune with the program, then everybody prospers. And so we're excited about that. Now you can clarify yourself, Ms. Dyer, as we move forward with that. You were helping her bear the load. You're helping her get back in line the proper way to check out now that things have changed. And that's key thing there. Things are changing every day. And the way we used to operate, we can't operate that way anymore, even when it comes to banking. The way we used to operate is not the same way we operate today. And so somebody has to get in there and be the trainer of trainers and teach people the proper way to operate so that we all can be prosperous in this season, Esther, for such a time as this.
I'm not talking because I know how I now know how Dr. Bytewood felt that day when he said something about the new lady he was dating or was thinking about, and in his mind, his vision, and we was like, oh, he got Dr. B. So I hear you, Dr. B. It turned around on me. Go ahead, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, read what yourself.
But even with that scenario, I want our listening audience to capture the essence of something that is happening, as you said, Bishop, in the midst of what's transpiring, and this happening all around the country now, and something that everybody can readily identify with Walmart. Whereas, you are now going into these facilities. Two things are happening, right? Their profit margin is still increasing, but then they're decreasing their workload because those self-checkouts mean that people have been replaced. That's why this skill set of reinventing yourself, relearning a skill set, and being introduced to making sure that your money's always working for you, because that is reality. And I know my preference is Publix. However, that has been a deterrent for me personally not to go to Walmart, because the reason why I go to the grocery store is I don't want to have to check my own groceries and bag them, but someone has been displaced. So for those of you listening, you have to be made aware that, and I think Dr. Bytewood talked about this on several broadcasts ago, about new levels of efficiency. So it's not that you're being replaced because of the pandemic and things of that nature. So the question is, are you persistent in making sure that you're now sowing the proper seeds, reaping the harvest, but also gaining the skill set that when these shovel-ready projects are available, you're able to dig your own foundation, and now you can plant the harvest, plant the garden, and receive the harvest that you desire. So we have to be persistent in understanding and discerning the times now, because it is no longer if you will be replaced. The question is, when you are replaced, how much of your life is disrupted?
You know what, just to kind of co-sign on what you're saying, or just to add to, I had a few conversations that I had around the beginning of COVID with some people that were in top positions within companies. And what a lot of people did not realize, COVID actually helped them. Like we're talking about Walmart right now, that kind of came up. So, and, obviously Walmart has a lot more. There are certain things, yes, I like Publix too. I'm excited. We just got a new Publix. I have to put that out. I'm like so excited. It's so nice in there, but that's not the point either. What I'm saying is there were conversations in businesses about the technology, using more technology and the way forward. And so the plans that we're seeing in place, the things we're seeing was supposed to be 5 years plus down the road. So businesses were already putting in place ways to downscale and to pull back from having as many employees and to use more technology. And so now we're talking about Walmart and the self-checkouts. And side note, how you have a self-checkout and the self-checkout still closed. Like it's not a cashier, the self-checkout. So you still have to wait in line for that. But the point I'm making is I've seen robots, robot waitresses, I just saw a smoothie kiosk where you can, the smoothies you like to get or what have you, where a robot will make your smoothie. So all of these things are in place now, but they were actually going to happen before COVID, before the pandemic. businesses were already putting these things in place. So instead of businesses having to wait 5 years to do it, now they were able to do it last year. So the business plans they already had, because they're forward thinking, is now in place today. And so they're not going to come back and re-put it in place. So it's already here, and we have to do something different. Why is it they're doing something different and we won't? That has to change.
Exactly. And one of the things that I noticed the past couple of weeks, I've been moving around quite a bit. Some of you may have noticed. I was in Houston, then I was in Dallas, and then I was in Memphis. And I was around a lot of people who were making more and more money, but they're still doing the same thing with their money that their grandparents did with their money. Still making that money and sticking it in the bank and letting somebody give them almost nothing for their deposit. And so what do we do? What do we say to people? We're talking about forward thinking. We're talking about catching up with what's going on with the world. We're talking about catching up with those who are using robots and other things, and the different forms of currency that are out there that we can participate in. What do we say to these people whose mindsets are stuck on doing it, even though they're making a lot of money? They're smart people, but when it comes to taking care of their money, they don't necessarily use the most beneficial option. Dr. Bythewood, is he there?
I certainly am. I apologize. I'm traveling at the moment. So I wanted to jump in and first say this. That point that Mr. Rogers just made about the hidden Walmart cashier part of our story is absolutely brilliant. And we really need to recognize several things. The first being this. There are oftentimes so many layers beyond what we see. That story had nothing to do with that, but it had everything to do with it. Because what's happening is not only the fact that their companies are moving toward efficiencies that are going to affect the bottom tier of employment, but we're also talking about the fact that because there are now these robotic cashiers, that individuals are frustrated. We humans naturally are resistant to change. And we need to understand that change occurs during storm and not calm. So COVID has absolutely sped up the timetable, as Ms. Dyer just said. But what we need to do is we need to recognize this. It's getting colder. So one of the things you want to make sure you have when it's cold is insulation in your house, because that allows you to be able to have an infrastructure where it's going to be warmer and toasty and more comfortable. We have to look at our finances the same way. We must economically insulate our lives. And that is what this movement is all about. We need to put ourselves in a position where, regardless of what companies, infrastructures, industries do, we know that we're in control of our economic dynamic. So those of you that are on the fence, thinking about whether or not this is for you, simply ask yourself about the opposite. Is it for you to be in a position where a company's decisions, where a global pandemic impacts your ability to be able to feed your family? This is the answer for us to be contributors of the planet in the most positive way, but to do it on our terms. The be your own bank move.
Exactly.
Insulate. Okay, Dr. B.
Ms. Dyer, you want to piggyback on that statement there?
No,
Insulate ourselves.
No, I just said, he said economically insulate. I like that. I was just saying I like that.
Exactly. And so what are some of the ideas about insulation that can be spoke about this evening that would encourage people to do something different? I'm talking about teach people have to have it on their minds that I can't keep doing the same thing. I can't keep planting wheat expecting to get corn. I got to do something different here. And so even though I'm making a lot of money, but I'm not being smart with the money that I'm making. I know if we can make a lot of money, and if we're not smart with it, at the end we'll be standing at Walmart saying, opening the door when the people finish doing the self-checkout, saying, "Can I see your receipt?" know, so
One of the things that I definitely would tell you is to plug in, so tonight we have a strong call that's going to talk about the foundation of what this movement is all about. It's on Zoom, it'll be on our YouTube channel. And so we definitely have a strong information call that's really going to break that down. And then you have a gentleman, by the likes of a Dr. Craig Bythewood that you're hearing from right now that actually does twice a week. It's called a Talk with the Finance Doctor. Now, what that does is really help you economically insulate yourself mentally. And so that shift is happening. And so I've seen many people make better financial decisions. I've gotten testimony after testimony of individuals that, really now begin to look at things differently because he breaks it down. He helps you understand that is definitely something that you can absorb, and the information, it was developed to be difficult for us to understand, but you have someone like Dr. Bythewood who breaks it down and makes it really easy to absorb. And so you want to make sure that you're there. But then also, we're very intentional. So for example, next week on the 30th, right? That's next Tuesday, the 30th, or no, well, let me just say the 30th, right? In 2 weeks, we have 2 of our educators that'll be on here. Now, one of the things that we teach you, we talk about generational wealth and blessings and generational blessings because we don't want to discuss curses. We want them to stop. So we want the generational blessings. And one of the things, something that we've accepted, because remember, we accept things as if they are. And so we accept the fact that, they're going to charge us interest. We accept the fact that I'm going to pay that house note. We accept the fact that, we're going to pay that car payment. We accept the interest rates that they give us, good credit, bad credit, whatever the case may be. You're willing to accept that. And that bottom line is not the end goal. That bottom line, what you pay is not what we're going to, what we pay is not what we see the day we sign up for. You get those credit cards. Have you ever really looked at those interest rates and you see exactly what they are? So we're paying out and we're willing to accept that. So what we do is we educate. Our whole emphasis, the platform, the foundation of what we do is education. And the education piece is we teach you not only the skill set, we teach you the difference between investing and trading. We teach you how to profit in the market, how to profit on the movement in the market, meaning that profit means make money. Okay, we teach you how to not only compound out, which we've accepted in life, but compound in. See, this is where that definition of insanity comes in, because we pay out so much more than we think we do, but yet we only want a 9 to 5. We have that steady income coming in. So where's the shift happen? It's through the education. See, our parents always told us, go to school, get educated, right? They always told us how important education was. They always taught us that education is key to success in life. And it is. But my question is, what are you being educated upon? So we're going to teach you what to do with your money. We're going to teach you what wealth is really all about. And when I mention those educators, because we kicked off a campaign in July called 6 Figures in 6 Months. And I am happy to stand here or sit here and say, we have individuals that are obtaining that. We have individuals, 10% of Americans earn 6 figures. But yet through this skill set, we have individuals that are walking out with 6 figures that will have that by the end of December when we kick this off in July. And we're going to do it again we're going to do it again and do it again. And so we're teaching you this skill set. We're walking you through it. So on the 30th, we have 2 of our phenomenal educators that are going to be here, because I'm like educators that compound, right? I created the strategy. So we're not talking about me. We're not talking about the visionary or the finance doctor. We're showing you results. We're showing you individuals who made a decision that were once students that stood there, looked at the same information, wondering if they would grasp it, if they would get it, the same questions we all have when we see this information. And yet now that they've not only exceeded and excelled, they've become educators, and they're also walking in the wealth. They're going to be 6-figure earners from this skill set off this campaign that we did, as well as other individuals that are under the sound of their voice. So I'm excited about that.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. That's hard for some folk to believe, but it's true. It's true. It's true, isn't it, Mr. Rogers?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt, no diggity. And we can back it up.
And so he went from serenading to bars. Like what?
Now he rapping now.
No
Now he
doubt,
rapping.
no dating, and we can back it up. That's why you need to plug in and stay around long enough to reap the harvest. And that's what I was speaking to even earlier, where people we start a lot of things, but are you a finisher? And that's very important because, yeah, I mean, and this is what I like, Bishop, because you always talk about these agricultural terms, and it just does not make sense in the natural or the spirit for any of us to believe that we can plant a seed and reap a harvest without properly fertilizing it and maintaining it and making sure that it's in the right environment and the right atmosphere. But as Ms. Dyer alluded, we have been able to take this amazing skill set that has been hidden in plain sight for many, right? And people have taken the time to have the right equipment. So, and our system has been in place to bear the burdens of those who are not familiar with this information, because I stand corrected. We've been saying that we do 40 plus calls per month, but actually it's 68, right, Ms. Dyer? Is it 68? Yeah. So every month you have 68 opportunities to sit at their feet and hear messages of inspiration. You got the opportunity to hear messages of execution. And so if you just show up, stay plugged in, then in due season, you will reap if you faint not. So I'm definitely in agreement with that. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we are truly, it's a new season. And I can tell everybody unequivocally what God is doing with this movement and the things that we're about to release in the upcoming months. Oh my God. I just like, wow.
See, I dance. You drop the bars and I'll be over here.
Where's the umbrella? You can't dance without an umbrella, can you?
Hey, that just makes it better.
So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, when we say God is a God of multiplication and what he's doing and the things that we're going to be announcing, and I'm going to use a unique vernacular because Dr. Bytewood, he gets the opportunity to make up words. So, but I'm going to use this word in not in this proper context. But I can tell you, it's getting gooder and gooder what's about to be released through the BYOB Bank movement.
Absolutely. Dr. Bytewood, you got a new word for us.
I appreciate the fact that imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery. So he's a flatteration right now. Flatteration. Thank you for being a flatterator. So listen, I think that this conversation is so important because what we're doing is we're recognizing that we have access to something that can really change our lives. And there are often times when I constantly throw my youngest daughter on the bus. I'll do it right now. She says to me yesterday, there's nothing to eat in the house. I know some of you parents have been there. There's nothing to eat. Well, I opened up the refrigerator this morning and there's a big, fat, beautiful piece of crab leg that belongs to her. So I said, well, can I have that? No, that's mine. Wait a minute. You just said there was nothing to eat. So sometimes we have access to things that are right there. They're yours. They belong to you. You got a beautiful crab leg of opportunity for you to learn everything you can to get to your desires. How many companies are going to give you the opportunity to make 6 figures in 6 months? So you need to open up the refrigerator and realize that we are way more than leftovers. We are a beautiful economic meal waiting on you to take advantage of it. Draw you some butter and let's get our financial crab leg on.
Oh my goodness.
Y'all hungry? Is it because Miss Anderson keeps talking about Thanksgiving? You talk about crab legs. Like, are y'all hungry? I don't know. I'm just playing.
Well, it's Thanksgiving. It's time.
I know.
But over the last month, I lost another 10 pounds when they weighed me yesterday before I went for my procedure. So I'm just trying to stay away from a lot of that old meat and stuff, and just kind of maybe a little crab, a little fish, or something like that. But I tell you what, there's no better time to get it, to build your resistance and your persistence is right now. You know, you need to take advantage of the now and not wait to Christmas or wait to New Year's to do better. That's almost 60 days away. You know, about New Year's, that's a long time to put off.
It is a
You
long
could, yeah, you could have made a lot of money just by tuning in and dialing in. If you're gonna make 6 figures in 6 months, well, that's time to get halfway there, almost. And so, you know,
say it again. Say it again.
yeah. So you know, it's time, and now is the time. Today is the day
You
that
know
we get started.
You know something,
It's
Bishop? I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. And, you know, for you to even bring that up, because so many people, well, I'm going to do this the new year. That's what, you know, I started out talking about cabbage or what have you. And, you know, but so many, what is the biggest topic that everybody's looking for at the new year? They're looking for health and wealth, right? We're this year, I'm going to make more money. This year, I'm going to the gym. Well, at what point does it work? Because you're not attached to the outcome, you're attached to the new year, right? You're attached to a false motivation. Because if we can't make a decision today, one thing I will tell you about successful people make decisions. You know, they make right now decisions and they're slow to change their mind, which really taps into staying long enough to reap your harvest, because successful people understand that. So successful people make right now decisions. They don't make a decision for next month, next year. Well, I'm going to do this in 6 months, or I'm going to do what's wrong with right now. Tomorrow's not promised. It's going to be something else tomorrow, right? There is never a perfect time for success is never convenient. It's never a perfect time for success. It's always something else going on. So you have to make an intentional shift in your life to say, you know what? This is what we're about to do. You know what? This is what's about to happen. You know what? This is what we're about to change. And you have to be intentional about it, because that's why New Year's resolutions don't work. That's why even like where I go to work out, you're talking about losing 10 more pounds. But where I go to work out, we were in there just talking the other day, like, oh my gosh, you know how many people are going to be in here on the 1st? You know, we're asking her, can you just start another class? Can you do something else, a temporary class? Because you know, by February, they'll be gone. But we don't want them inconveniencing our dreams and goals, because they're not there for real. They're there for faith. They're there with a false hope and motivation. And so you need to stick around and stay around long enough to reap the harvest. You know, it's all a decision and a choice. So I like the way that Mr. Rogers said that, because so many people, you'll plant, or I'll try to plant, you know, I'm trying to plant a seed in some cement, so I'm not willing to fertilize it. I'm not willing to show up. You know, I cannot plant a seed in cement and expect it to grow. It's going to blow away. So I need to make sure my ground is fertilized, my ground is ready, but I also have to make sure I stick around. Because if you walk away from the harvest that's planted, believe it's going to reap. Someone is going to benefit from it. So if you plant the corn, we're talking about corn, right? You plant the corn is going to grow. And if you're not around when it does, somebody else is going to eat.
Oh my goodness, somebody's gonna eat my corn. Lord have mercy. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that little analogy you made there. Lord have mercy. But you know, they got these new gardens now. I found out about. They call it the elevated gardens. You can just grow everything. You don't even have to get out there and get dirty like that. And it's really no dirt.
Oh, and so we operating in convenience. We operating in.
Well, everything changes. Is my term. There's a more efficient way of getting productivity. And if we want to continue to have to dig around and manure, get all that on our fingernails, and then continue if that's what you want to do. But if there's a better way where you get more bang for your buck and your effort, then certainly you want to do that. And so I think that's what we offer here is opportunity to get more bang for your buck. You can go sit around and get a 0.3% for interest on your money, or you can go and get another way and just blow that completely out of the water. I can't make you no promise what you would do. It just depends on you, but and the effort that you put in. But you reward according to your effort and not according to someone's decision about your stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, and I like that, the fact that, as you just said, our entire existence for many of us when it comes to our financial wherewithal, other people have made the decisions, right? That have, and from an institution, and as Dr. Bythwood says, we're not anti-institution, we're just pro your household. So now that we have been able to unlock the code, and I truly believe that we now have the ability, for those of you who want to know the code, so those secret numbers that every time you press the right code, you get the right result, then we've been able to capture that through a strategy that was created by the Trade Whisperer itself. However, even though the strategy is there, we're talking about what you alluded to, Bishop, having a more efficient and effective way to increase profitability. So that's where diving into the process and rolling into the academy is going to coincide with the tenure necessary, the strength, the emotional integrity and emotional strength to endure, knowing that in due season, the harvest will come. So we have to be emotionally intelligent enough to endure that process, because all of us go through a process. So now we get the benefit of the ultimate productivity, because now we've found a more effective and an efficient way to increase and truly leave a legacy. Because, and this is for those of you who found your path, you've been able to obtain your graduate degrees and your undergraduate degrees and your specialty degrees. However, I want you to think about it from this perspective. No matter how well you may be doing, that career path that you currently possess, it is not transferable to the next generation. But this skill set will reap a harvest for decades, centuries, and galaxies to come.
Amen.
Exactly.
Blessings,
So,
blessings.
I'm going to turn it over to you, Miss Dyer. Give me just a second. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Generational blessings.
Amen. That's a little shout she got going over there. We can get into that with her, and we're excited about that word from Mr. Rogers. But at the same time, Mr. Rogers mentioned the academy, and that there may be some folk out there said, "Well, how do I get to the academy? How I enroll in the academy?" And I want us to be able to share that with people who might want to connect with us and be a part of the academy and get involved in what we do. And so I want to make sure we do that before we get off the air. So I want to make sure we save some time to do that.
Oh,
yeah, I'll throw it to you. I can get Dr. Bythwood to give his last conclusion. Then I was going to turn it over to you for you to do that. So hopefully we can.
Kind of gave an awkward pause.
Okay.
I know. Who was like, wait, what? Dr. B, y'all having a good time with y'all today. That's all.
So conversations like this are just so pivotal, because what we're doing as a radio broadcast team and what you, our loving audience, is receiving today is a reminder that we have access to something that is utilizing this fact. Everything that we do in life is 5% skill set and 95% mindset. It just so happens that many of the things that we have access to, especially on that lower tier of employment that we referenced earlier, is based on someone telling you what to do, but not necessarily why you're doing it. So many of us spend time actually doing where they purposely do not let us know. Let me give you a little bit of data to back that up. So the human resources literature is used by managers to determine the best way to motivate and incentivize employees. Well, there's a statistic that shows that first-time promotees, meaning the first time you get a promotion in your company, your failure rate is 79%. Think about that for a second. 80% of the people who get a first-time promotion fail. The reason why is because of that Bythwoodism. If you know what you're doing, you will always have a job. If you know why you're doing it, you will always be the boss. So since we're not teaching people why they're doing it, and they now are just responsible for processing information and following steps. Then when you make them a leader, they have no idea how to lead. But watch this. The HR literature says that second time promotees, the failure rate goes all the way down to 17%, because now you get it. Now you understand what's happening. So I said all of that to say this. This mindset that we are employing in you allows you to learn a skill set that benefits you. And when you can benefit yourself by learning this skill set, now you have the power and ability to be able to impact your family, impact your community, impact your planet. So please understand that we're giving you the best of both worlds. A skill set that is practical, a skill set that will bring you abundance, and a mindset that will allow you to keep it. Take advantage of the BYOB movement, everyone.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Okay, Ms. Dyer, people want to enroll. They want to get involved.
We're ready. Enroll, learn, profit, right? Enroll, learn, profit. So seriously, I do want to let you guys know, go ahead and text BYOB to 55469. That is BYOB to 55469. You can also text, and if for more information, you can send a text message to 904-580-4119. That's 904-580-4119, okay? And also, I'm gonna say it one more time, 904-580-4119. Also, go to our YouTube channel, BYOB Movement Worldwide. Go find us on YouTube, BYOB Movement Worldwide. And so I'm saying all of this, I'm giving you all these ways to contact us, because also BYOB Movement Worldwide on Facebook. We are everywhere, Instagram, LinkedIn, okay? We're in all those places. Come find us, reach out, talk to us, but send those text messages, because we communicate, we correspond. And I really want you all to understand that tonight at 9 p.m., you want to understand more about this movement, how you can take advantage, because we really focus on your education. And the educator that I was mentioning, Ms. Anderson, she's actually one of the educators that is going to be on this broadcast on the 30th. So she's doing a phenomenal layout of what this movement is all about, helping you understand this BYOB cash out strategy that we've been discussing, right? Because you're like, what is a BYOB? So you'll understand it tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then you'll also understand what we meant about compounding. So everything we just discussed, you're going to get that wrapped up tonight. And then you'll get to hear from the gentleman you just heard from, Dr. Bythewood, where he's going to be giving you your RX for Forex. So you're going to get your financial injection tonight, right? You're going to be empowered. You can also visit our website, BYOBmovementLLC.com, right? Visit our website, BYOBmovementLLC.com. And at that website, what you're going to be able to do is look at some information, some opportunities, some testimonies. It's some powerful testimonies on there. I'm telling you right now. And it's from people like myself, like the individuals on this line that have already walked in success in their lives. And we've done what society taught us, but yet what we do understand is that doesn't generate wealth. And pick up, it's almost Christmas. Go pick up a copy of your book, Be Your Own Bank, Hidden in Plain Sight, all right? I'm trying to get that glare out of there. You want to make sure this is a powerful read. I'm not saying it's powerful because I'm one of the co-authors, right? I'm not saying that's why. I'm saying it's a powerful read because it's going to open your eyes. We've been talking about education. We're removing financial blinders. We're walking in generational blessings, right? That is what we're doing. And you want to make sure you reap the harvest. So what are you sowing? I want you to ask yourself right now, what is it you're sowing? What are you sowing? Are you sowing, right? You don't get out of life what you want, you get out of life who you are. So what are you sowing? What are you preparing? What are you putting out there? Because that is ultimately what's going to come back. And so when we put the right things out there, you'll get the right thing in return. And so make sure you join us tonight. Make sure you join us this evening. Make sure you send those messages. Make sure you reach out, because this is an economic empowerment movement. And as we roll out and we close out and we're sitting here, we're talking about these 6 figures in 6 months, I get excited because people are actually walking in wealth. That is definitely something to get excited about. And I want that for you and your family as well. Let's change some lives, change your legacy. When you change a family, you change a community. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how things are going to change. So with that, We love you all. We love you. So, we'll see you back on here next week. So see you back on here. Save the date, save the calendar, put it on there. We'll be back, but I know I'll see you this evening. So with that, this is going to officially conclude our show. You guys have a blessed and more blessed evening. And we'll see you back on here this evening.